Nietzsche. Okay, so Nietzsche, okay, who's controlling who? So in Marx, who's controlling who? Okay, religion's controlling people, but if we take, like, say, okay, yes, but say two groups of people, who's controlling who? Bourgeoisie, or the minority, the superstructure, they're controlling the masses, using religion as a tool to do so. And the masses are compliant. They do the same thing to themselves. Okay. Now let's flip that on its head. Okay. What do you know about Nietzsche? Very pensive. I mean, he wrote a book called The Antichrist. You know. Beyond Good and Evil. Okay. The Birth of Tragedy. Thus spoke Zarathustra. I can't even say it. That one. Have you not? If you haven't read any Nietzsche, I mean, you should read some selections for the class. But intriguing. He's very angry. I mean, his writing style is fascinating. But just reading him is very intriguing, and because you can pick up his emotional tone through his writing. Okay. So for Nietzsche, okay, he's the other way around. For Nietzsche, what you have is what he calls, well, let me preface it by this. I don't want to jump too far ahead. Okay. Again, very, very critical. So both Nietzsche and Marx are very, very critical of Christianity, but critical for two different reasons. For Nietzsche, although the Christian worldview was losing sway with the rise of science, there lacked a new set of values to replace it. Okay. So Christianity becomes the default moral base, the default morality, because there's no new meaning system. And people need meaning, right? Going all the way back to Peter Berger, even though Peter Berger came after. Okay. But Peter Berger, everything needs to happen for a meaning, for a reason. People need to find meaning and value in their lives. So he didn't want people to resort to blind nationalism, but he also didn't want people to return to Christianity, because what does Christianity do? Okay. Christianity, what it does, okay, it paralyzes people in their action. Okay. So Nietzsche is focused on, have you heard the phrase will to power? Okay. When he says like this thing is it's called will to power. Okay. But he's not necessarily talking about will to power and becoming a dictator, and becoming a political leader. Okay. Instead, he's talking about a life-affirming will to power. Embrace your life. Embrace your instinct. Embrace your desires. Okay. But have mastery over yourself. You have desires, but you don't need to succumb to them. But if you choose, if you want to take that Kit Kat, take it. Okay. Okay. Because what distinguishes human beings from the animals is allowing humans to have that will over their instincts, okay, over their desires. Okay, but will yourself to power. Okay. So he talks about now who does this best? The will to power. Who does it best? But the ubermensch. Okay, or translated into Superman, the Superman for Nietzsche. Okay. Okay. So, or the overman, okay, depending on the translation. Okay. This is the destination toward which humans started heading when they first reined in animal instincts. The ubermensch has self-mastery that animals lack, but also the untrammeled instincts and good conscience that humans lack. Okay. So on the one hand, you have your instincts and your desire to push society forward and be a leader, but you also have mastery over yourself. You are in control. Okay. Christianity does neither for Nietzsche. It just says, don't do this because God says so. It doesn't say, don't do this because you should have control not to do it. And you see the difference? Okay, let's get to some examples. Okay. The ubermensch is profoundly in love with life. He or she finds nothing in life to complain about, not even the constant suffering and struggle to which she or he willingly submits. Okay. The individual should be the judge and avenger of their own law. Okay. It shouldn't be external. In writing this book called Beyond Good and Evil, these categories of good and evil promoted by religion are something that are then heaped onto human beings, heaped onto the overman, heaped onto the ubermensch. But instead, the ubermensch should be able to discern for himself, herself, what is good, what is evil. Their own good, their own evil. These should not be coming from outside sources. It shouldn't be coming from religion. Okay? And so you don't submit to God. You don't submit to anyone else. You are your own judge of their own law. Okay. Now, when he wrote about the Antichrist, okay, a scathing critique, you could say, of Christianity, what is good? Okay. That's a question that philosophers have asked themselves over time, right? What is good? But Nietzsche comes up with a little bit different answer, a little bit unique. Everything that heightens the feeling of power in man. The will to power, power itself. What is bad? Everything that is born of weakness. What is happiness? The feeling that power is growing, that resistance is overcome. The weak and the failure shall perish. What is more harmful than any vice? Active pity for all the failures and all the weak. Christianity. Christianity is the worst thing. It is worse than any vice. Why would he say that? Why would Nietzsche say that Christianity is worse than any vice? Think back to what we talked about with Marx. What does Christianity teach? Inhibits, sure. Inhibits our will to do something. Passiveness. Submissive. We give support to the downtrodden. Okay. Okay. Christianity allows the pitiful to survive. It is fundamentally opposed to life, Nietzsche argues. Okay. It should not be beautified and embellished, for it is waged war against the highest type of human, the ubermensch. So, in Marxism, you're talking about power, and you're talking about this small, minor, this superstructure wielding power over the many by using religion as a tool. And Nietzsche's the other way around. You have all of the many using religion to control and try to subdue the ubermensch. Those individuals who seize the will to power, who lead society, who should be, according to Nietzsche, beyond good and evil in these categories of good and evil. So religion is being used as a tool, but in each case, in Marx and Nietzsche, they're being used by different groups. Okay. So, what happens in Christianity? You can help the homeless. Why on earth, for Nietzsche, would you help the homeless? You're helping them pull society down. Okay. Here you have the Good Samaritan. Pity, for Nietzsche, is the worst of all. Okay. In Christian morality, there is an attempt to deny all the characteristics that are associated with a healthy life. The idea of sin makes us ashamed of our instincts and our sexuality. Faith discourages our curiosity and natural skepticism. There was just a recent thing, and I'll finish with this. Recently, there was I heard this on NPR, with a woman who had a genetic, some sort of genetic disease in her family. She didn't want to pass it on to her kids. So they were actually able to take her egg and genetically manipulate the egg, remove those isolated genes, and replace them with healthy ones, and then she would have a sperm donor and then replant the egg, the fertilized egg, back in her womb. Okay. Now, why would that be an issue? That's great, right? Why would that be an issue? Yeah. Okay, so now you're talking about 3 parents. So they would take the DNA, yeah? Okay. Okay. Well, it gets into like designer babies. Well, I want my kids to have blue eyes, so I'm going to snap out the potential for other colored eyes and snap in blue eyes. Or I want my kids to be tall. Okay? And so you get into this slippery slope of designer babies. Okay? Nietzsche's like, why on earth are you using religion to, I mean, we are trying to advance society and conquer disease. Why are religions holding back, holding society back, holding the ubermensch back? That's his argument. So the masses use religion to say, no, you should have pity. No, we need to have morals. We need to submit to God. And Nietzsche is so frustrated by that. He says it's only holding us back. Okay. So, again, two different thinkers. Religion is being used as a tool to wield power, but in 2 different ways. Okay? That's one of your questions one of the potential questions on the midterm. So. Now you have it. So, okay, but the presentation is available out there, and we'll talk more about this on Wednesday. We'll go into start. Look over the midterm. Bring your questions in. But I don't follow Nietzsche, so you too can help the homeless. You don't have to worry about that. So pity's not a bad thing. So, all right, sure.